The Lindner Family Tennis Center stands silent. The sea of Philippine flags that had waved so passionately for days has vanished. The chants of Eala, Eala, that echoed through the venue have faded into a painful silence. Alex Eala, the 21-year-old Filipino sensation, is gone. She has fallen to Amanda Anisimova in a heartbreaking 3-set battle, 6-4, 4-6, 2-6, ending her 9-match winning streak. But the real shock is only beginning. As Eala packed her bags and prepared to leave Cincinnati, something happened that no one expected. A massive wave of fan backlash. A sudden drop in ticket sales. Empty seats where there should be packed stadiums. And a growing chorus of voices chanting, "No Eala, no fans." This is the story of how Alex Eala's exit left the Cincinnati Open reeling. This is the story of a tournament that relied on one player and paid the price. This is the story of the shocking aftermath that has the tennis world asking, can the Cincinnati Open survive without Alex Eala? Face screaming in fear, Philippines. To understand the shock of Eala's exit, you must first understand the phenomenon that preceded it. Alex Eala did not just play tennis in Cincinnati. She transformed the tournament. She turned a routine WTA 1000 event into a celebration of Filipino pride. And she did it in a way that no one had ever seen before. The numbers were staggering. According to Sam Querrey, the former world number 11, Eala's presence had driven ticket prices through the roof. The average ticket price on center court tonight compared to I think it was 2 nights ago is $160 higher per ticket and sold out, Querrey revealed. That was just for one match. For the entire tournament, Filipino fans were reportedly paying upward of $1,000 on the resale market just to see Eala play. Eala's impact went far beyond ticket sales. At the Canadian Open in Toronto, tournament director Carl Hale had been stunned by what he witnessed. "We've never seen anything like that in Toronto before. It was unexpected," Hale said. "Every match she played it sold out. This year we saw hundreds and thousands of flags." The same thing happened in Cincinnati. The Filipino community had turned out in full force, turning the Lindner Family Tennis Center into what felt like a home court for the Filipino star. Even her opponents acknowledged the phenomenon. Amanda Anisimova, who would eventually end Eala's run, had been captivated by the atmosphere. "I love that she has such an incredible fan base. I've seen the atmosphere. It's amazing," Anisimova said. Jessica Pegula, who lost to Eala in the Washington final, admitted, "To all the Filipino fans who came out and supported, you guys are helping grow tennis around the world, and I really appreciate that." The Eala effect was real. It was powerful, and it was about to become a problem. August 17, 2026. The Cincinnati Open third round. Alex Eala versus Amanda Anisimova. The match was a roller coaster of emotion. Eala, the number 17 seed, came out firing. She won the first set 6-4, breaking Anisimova in the 10th game. The Filipino crowd erupted. The flags waved. The chants echoed. The dream was alive. But Anisimova, the world number 10 and 2-time Grand Slam finalist, was not intimidated. She had promised to thrive off the energy of the packed stadium. And she did. The second set was a turnaround. Anisimova broke Eala in the 7th game and held on to win 6-4. The match was level. The tension was unbearable. The third set was a nightmare. Eala broke Anisimova in the opening game and moved 2-0 ahead. The crowd roared. The flags waved. But then, the momentum shifted. Anisimova stormed back, winning 6 consecutive games to close out the match 6-2. The final score, 4-6, 6-4, 6-2. Eala's 9-match winning streak was snapped. Her 5-match winning run against top 10 opponents had come to an end. The stadium fell silent. The sea of Philippine flags that had waved so passionately now hung still. The chants of Eala, Eala, that echoed through the venue faded into silence. And in the stands, thousands of Filipino fans began to weep. They had come to witness history. Instead, they watched as she walked off the court, her head bowed, her heart heavy. The morning after Eala's exit, the Cincinnati Open faced a brutal reality. The fans who had packed the stadium for her matches were gone. The tickets that had sold for $1,000 on the resale market were now worthless. The organizers who had been celebrating record attendance were now facing empty seats. The numbers were devastating. According to sources, ticket sales for the remaining matches plummeted. The demand that had been driven by Eala's presence evaporated overnight. The tournament had relied on the Filipino community to fill the stands, and now that community had left. The hashtag #NoEala began trending almost immediately. Fans expressed their fury at the prospect of continuing the tournament without their hero. "What's the point?" one fan wrote. The tournament was only exciting because of Alex. The economic impact was immediate and severe. Local businesses near the Lindner Family Tennis Center had benefited from the influx of Filipino fans. Restaurants, hotels, and shops had seen a surge in customers. Now, that surge was gone. The economic ripple effect of Eala's elimination was being felt throughout the Cincinnati community. Anisimova, who had just won the biggest match of her tournament, was asked about the atmosphere. She acknowledged the crowd support she had received, but also recognized what Eala had built. "There was quite a bit of support for me tonight, so I really appreciate that," she said. "Because I know how loved Alex is, and for good reason." But the support for Anisimova was a fraction of what Eala had commanded. The tournament was struggling to fill the void. The hashtag #NoEala spread like wildfire across social media. Fans were furious. They had invested their hopes, their dreams, their pride in Alex Eala. And now, they felt that the tournament had failed them. "You wanted us to be quiet. Now you want us to come back? Make up your mind," one fan tweeted. The backlash was not just about Eala's elimination. It was about the tournament's failure to appreciate what she meant to millions of people. Some fans pointed to the scheduling as a major issue. Eala had been forced to play an exhausting schedule, with matches stretching late into the night. Her match against Anisimova ended close to midnight, leaving fans exhausted and frustrated. The tournament had prioritized the Williams sisters' doubles match over Eala's schedule, causing her match to be moved later. The decision was seen as a disrespect to Eala and her fans. Others questioned whether the tournament had done enough to accommodate the Filipino community. Despite adding Filipino dishes to the food stands and scheduling Eala's matches on center court, many fans felt that the tournament had taken their support for granted. "They welcomed our money but not our culture," one fan wrote. The irony was not lost on them. They had been told to quiet down. Now they were being told to come back. Amanda Anisimova, who had been the beneficiary of some of the crowd's support, had seen the phenomenon up close. Earlier this year, she had watched Eala play live in Dubai and was captivated by the atmosphere. "She's also such a good representation of her country. She's so young, and she carries herself so well. It's so good to see," Anisimova said. But even Anisimova acknowledged the pressure. The Eala effect was not just about support. It was about expectation. And when Eala lost, the fans expected the tournament to recognize what they had lost. The Cincinnati Open's crisis after Eala's exit is more than just a local issue. It is a sign of something much bigger. It is a sign that tennis is changing. It is a sign that the sport is becoming more global, more diverse, and more passionate. It is a sign that players from countries that have never had tennis stars before are finally getting the recognition they deserve. Alex Eala represents that change. She represents hope. She represents resilience. She represents the belief that no dream is too big, no obstacle too great, no challenge too difficult to overcome. For decades, the Philippines has been a country that has been overlooked on the world stage. Its people have been told that they are too small, too poor, too insignificant to compete with the giants of the world. But Alex Eala is changing that narrative. She is showing the world that Filipinos can compete on the global stage, that Filipinos can succeed, that Filipinos can be champions. The Cincinnati Open learned this lesson the hard way. They underestimated the power of the Eala phenomenon. They underestimated the passion of the Filipino community. They underestimated the backlash that would follow her elimination. And now, they are paying the price. But the lesson is not just for Cincinnati. It is for every tournament, every organizer, every player who doubts the power of the Eala effect. The sport is changing. The fans are changing. And if tennis wants to survive, it must change with them. No Eala, no fans is not just a hashtag. It is a statement that the fans have power, a statement that the sport cannot survive without its stars, a statement that Alex Eala is not just a tennis player. She is a movement, and movements do not disappear. They grow, they evolve, they transform everything in their path. The tennis world is watching. The fans are waiting. And Alex Eala is just getting started. From the cracked courts of Quezon City to the sold-out stadiums of Toronto and Cincinnati. From the cover of Forbes to the bright lights of the U.S. Open, her journey has defied every expectation. This is not the end. This is only the beginning.